Welcome to Burn the Ship. Thank you for coming, first of all. Appreciate it
My
very
pleasure.
much.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. Our goal is to connect entrepreneurs or professionals that can help you go all in on your business, right? People that have the story of walking the walk and talking the talk and experience is the thing that you experience as an entrepreneur, as a salesperson in our scenarios. But I appreciate you being a part of it because you're bringing some value to the audience and telling your story and helping people kind of walk an easier path in the business world. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, awesome. I'm Joshua Britt with Georgia Roof Advisors. I'm really passionate about helping people hit their goals, and I have an avenue where I help people hit their home improvement goals. So I consult people on their roofs, basically diagnosing a problem if there is a problem, and providing them with the best solutions for their home. So
Yeah, the introduction to our companies, I've known Naomi for a while, networked with Naomi. Naomi's been a client of mine for a while, and we have a really, really good relationship. But we met at our most recent networking event,
the SIP event,
the SIP event.
that's where you first met her?
No, that's where I met you.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, I met Naomi at a Marietta Business Association,
Okay.
actually. That's where I met you, was the SIP event that we had that my company hosts. And your industry is not an easy one. And I
Not at
think
all.
Naomi and James do an incredible job of building a culture of success and hard work. And I look forward to having the conversation about what your experience has been like.
Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of people, there's a lot of people in your industry. You know what I mean? And there's all different shapes and sizes of companies that make up your industry. They all provide a very different solution based on kind of what their goals are. But tell me a little bit of a story. What is your background in, and how did you end up in the roofing industry?
Good question, man. So I started out, I'm really passionate about making music. As I told you, I'm also big in public speaking. That's the world that I want to get into. And so I came from South Carolina. I moved here for the music industry. And then I started out as a valet. I was doing valet, making music, and doing valet at like luxury restaurants and hotels. And it was paying pretty well, but I knew I would be good at sales. I just knew I would. And I was applying at many different places. I was in valet for like maybe a year or so. And then I started applying. I had 6 or 7 interviews, but none of them felt right. And so a roofing company came up, and they were a brand new company. And honestly, the deciding factor for me, because I'm just a man of faith, it was Jesus was a carpenter. So the industry that I decided to go in was just construction. And so I thought it would just be blessed. So I went into the industry, and I started out with a company that was a door knocking company. So as you're aware, with roofing, there's like over 10,000 companies in Georgia, and the competition is immense. So when I first came in the industry, I knew nothing about roofs, nothing about sales. I actually previously did network marketing for a little bit. I was in 2 different network marketing companies. I did decent in those, but they didn't really teach you sales much. They really taught you personal development, and that was the best value that I could have ever gotten. It's just personal development, starting that journey. And so when I got to the first roofing company I was with, they were great sales guys. They could teach you how to have a conversation. They could teach you how to get yes at the door and to overcome objections. And that's what I learned so much there. But they weren't the best roofing company, and they weren't able to hold true to their word pretty well. And so as I was going, it was a struggle in the beginning. One thing about roofing sales when you first start out is that if you don't know anything, you don't know anything. And homeowners know you don't know anything, and they don't want to buy from you. And so that was one of the biggest hurdles to overcome, is the fact that, like, I've been in this industry for 3 months now, and I haven't made a penny. Everyone's telling me no. But the potential there, I just kept seeing the potential because I saw other people winning. And I saw the ones who started the company, where they came from, and they came to a place where they could run a company. And I knew I would be good, but I just didn't know enough about roofs. And then I finally started doing well because, there's a point in sales where it just clicks. You finally get it. And that point clicked for me. I was doing really, really well. And then I started noticing that a lot of customers were so happy with me, but not with the company. And that was a problem for me because it's like, I'm this great guy, but now I go from being the professional to the middleman. And when I'm the middleman, it's like, Josh, you're great. We love you, but your company doesn't know what they're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, but you're a great guy. And that was just not good for me. I just didn't like that. So I started applying at, well, actually, no. I was actually going to enter a new industry. I was going to go somewhere else. And I was praying about it and stuff. And then Georgia Roof Advisors, they reached out to me via one of their recruiters. So one thing that was great about them in the beginning was they had a self-assessment that you had to take, and it was a real one. It was like 45 minutes that it took for you to go through the questions and answer it honestly. And then I went through the assessment. Then one of the managers called me. We had an hour phone conversation, a great conversation. Just that was with Sean, and he's, by the way, one of the top sellers, closers in the world. He's
Oh yeah.
so good.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. And we were having a long conversation, and then they brought me in for another interview. I had an interview. Have you met Daryl before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Daryl, one of the top industry experts in terms of knowledge. He is like a walking manuscript when it comes to roofs. Met with him and Naomi, and then after, no, I think I met with Daryl and Sean first, and then after that, I met with the owners, James and Naomi, and all of them. So it was a 3 interview process. And just by going through 3 interviews, it shows that this company does not just hire anybody, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And that's one thing that I was looking for. And then they have their core values at like posted inside the office. So it's like this company stands behind striving behind excellence, integrity. These are the things that I'm looking for to work for a company. And the number one thing is they don't do storm chasing, right? We help homeowners through the process of the insurance process, but we're not starving to get your roof paid for by insurance. We don't need to do that. There's a lot of different avenues that they have. So I really, really loved that, and I was on board the moment that I got hired. And then their training process was just so excellent because Daryl is such an expert.
Oh yeah.
So he can tell you everything about the roofing industry. And he trained me up to really understand roofs and how the process works, how to put on a roof system and not just slap on a roof to a home, the different materials and the products that we're using. So that was really great. And then Sean, he's just such a phenomenal closer because he knows people and he knows the process. So he taught me how to really close against competitors in negotiating. So I had the fire, the passion, the knowledge from Daryl, the closing skills from Sean, and then the caring about people from the company. It's just made my experience amazing. And when I started out there, of course, it's the same thing, right? Because I entered the world of insurance and then now to retail, where I could sell repairs, I could sell gutters, gutter guards, I can sell you a full roof, or I can walk you through the insurance process. So there's not a lot of companies that can do that, but the ones that can do that, they're really good companies.
Mm-hmm.
And so the process of growing my skill set and learning how to communicate, it just really shifted the momentum in the roofing industry. And I started out slow and then started doing really, really well, really, really well. And then I ended up closing the year out at a 49% close rate because I had such a successful inside team. It's not all me. It's like when you have people to back you, like if there's an issue going on, one thing that we specialize is in ventilation, venting the home properly so the house is breathing so it can last. And we have an inside team who puts the numbers together specifically for what type of ventilation is geared towards the home.
Mm-hmm.
So like little things like that allowed me to close much higher because the confidence was in me that I was going to get the job done, and I had confidence in the company.
It's a. It seems like something that's been important to you over the time has really just been kind of feeding yourself, right? Is continuing to improve in different things and industries for you personally. Do you feel like that's kind of been your superpower? Do you feel like that's kind of been the thing that you've done well that's helped you be a successful salesperson?
I would say that yeah, because what I've learned. Have you ever? Do you know who Kevin Trudeau is?
I do not.
So Kevin Trudeau, he did this seminar on. It's called Your Wish Is Your Command, and Your Wish Is Your Command is about. It's like a 12-hour long CDO set or CD set that was done back in the 90s, and there were multi-millionaire and billionaires coming telling the secrets behind it. One of the most important things that I held on to was the most successful people in the world have the highest teachability index, your willingness to learn and your willingness to accept change. So when I learned that, I'm like, okay, if I'm willing to sit here for 3 hours and listen to Daryl go on and talk and talk and talk, if I'm willing to listen to Sean, if I'm willing to listen to Sean on 2-hour phone calls telling me about a sales process or how he closed the deal, how it goes, then and I'm willing to apply those things, I'm going to be far ahead of everybody else. And when I learned that at 18 years old, the teachability index, that has been something I held on to my whole life. So I am naturally just a sponge of being able to, how can I grow? How can I listen to people who have what I want, the results that I have? You have the knowledge. It's like being intentional. Not every person can tell you everything, but every person can tell you something. And you listen to what that one thing it is that you're lacking that they may have, and absorbing that information. That has been like, it has been extremely important for my growth. And I think that's what's really helped me in my sales. It's just my teachability index.
Yeah. And a lot of that plays into being able to communicate the values of your company as well. You know what I mean? Like, the singular verbiage of saying a lot of those words to people in a sale is beneficial. And it tells people, I am going to be there for you.
Yes.
Right? But you have another layer on top of that, that is, we are going to be there for you. Who I am as a company, I believe in, and you should believe in too, because we're going to do right by you.
Yeah.
Right? So not only have you fed yourself, learned those things, put in the time and effort and energy that it takes to be able to understand the process, and being able to understand how valuable it is to have people's best interest in mind, you've found a home where you kind of surround yourself with people that think the same way.
Yeah.
You know?
That's certainly true, for sure. Yeah.
And it's you're fortunate to have found it at, stop number 2. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, they wander through the industry. And I guess really the point of me saying that is, like, you should know very early on if who you are as a person aligns with who your company is as an entity. You know what I mean? And the culture that exists there, and the amount of time and effort and energy that you're going to have to put into something to be able to work well.
Right.
You know what I mean? To prosper and do right by yourself and make money for your company and all those things as well.
100%.
What have been some of the obstacles? If you could go back and give yourself some of these skills that you've developed over time on day one, what would it be?
From Georgia Roof Advisors, or just roofing in general?
Both.
Both. Yeah. So day one for sure is investing in the time to learn, not investing in the time to sell. Like, if you invest, I have a mentor that taught me there are 2 ways to win. You're either going to learn from mistakes or mentors. And you turn those those M's upside down. Those are both W's. You're going to make mistakes and win, or you're going to have a mentor who made the mistakes and win. So before, trying to just go and door knock and try to get the sale, how can I get this customer to say yes? I'll learn the process later. All I need them to do is say yes, getting excited about that. That probably is one thing that I would for sure change, because one thing that I've learned about the roofing industry, about my competitors, and why I can close at the rate that I close, is that my competitors don't have actual knowledge about roofs, and they don't have actual knowledge about the process of how things work. And they're not focused on the solution for the problem. They're focused on selling them a roof. Most of my competitors' solution is putting a new roof on. But the type of roof, how it's put on, and how the home is vented is extremely important. And that's what makes me different from a lot of my competitors. So if I could, I wish I would have focused on the knowledge in the beginning. But I'm grateful for where I'm at right now, right? Maybe if I would have focused in the beginning, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I'd be at another place or whatever. But
a lot of times what happens if you focus on that too early in the beginning, your pitch becomes too complicated.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
You learn so much that you want to throw up information on people so that you can make them feel as empowered to make a decision as possible.
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of times what it becomes is confusing.
Yeah, it can be for sure.
I don't want to know. A lot of times is really the energy that people get out without the ability to say it is like, I want to know who you are, and I want to know that I trust you. But that's about as interested as I am in knowing the whole process of knowing the whole roof. So sometimes, like, it works the other way where you're exactly right. It's like if you invested in all that time and energy and not learned the process of giving consistent rebuttals to consistent objections, there's a trade-off for everything.
For sure. And I'm grateful about that too, because when I came to this company, Georgia Roof Advisors, I was ready. Like I was ready for the knowledge at the time. So in the beginning, I think that if I would have focused on knowledge, I probably would have done better the second half of the year.
Sure.
Or I would have known quickly that I don't need to be here and I would
Right.
have left sooner, you know. But also at the same caveat, I think that the fact that I did focus on rebuttals and the sales process and things like that, then it prepared me for where I'm at right now. So that's definitely for sure somewhat of a hurdle that I had to jump through. And then also understanding that the roofing industry, most companies are straight commission. And so you have to have that bone in you to not quit. Because this is a very easy industry to quit, especially
When you
getting
come in with no pipeline,
no
you
pipeline,
know,
people telling you no to your face.
and
Like,
trust me and believe me when I tell you that a fraction of a percent of people, like a lot of things what people do to allure sales reps is like, we generate all your leads. We generate all your leads. We're going to send you to appointments with an iPad and you're going to close them. We're going to generate the leads. Trust me when I tell you there are not a lot of people that are very good at that.
yeah, for
You
sure.
know how much time and effort and energy Naomi and James have put into really trying to understand how to get quality leads from the internet? And you're still in BNI. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you're
for sure.
still building
For sure.
relationships with
Yeah.
people in the community because it is the best way, right? So like
Self-generated leads are for sure the best.
you have to come in, you have to build a pipeline, you have to have that, like you said, that demeanor about yourself where you know it's gonna take time to ramp up. And a lot of things what I see with new salespeople is like that first ramp goes really well, actually. That first build of the pipeline, excited to talk about, we're excited to get asked questions you don't know the answer to. And then your pipeline is full. And then you start to empty the pipeline because you close some deals, right? And you're in you're learning the process of what you actually sold these people. You're watching roofs get put on the house or whatever that product may be, and you're not feeding the pipeline.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you ride that roller coaster back down where you're like, oh, I made some money last month, 2-3 months into the industry. Now my pipeline's empty again.
Yes.
Well, now I quit.
Yep.
Well, now I'm not doing the whole 3 months again. Now I quit.
Yep.
You have to learn the ebbs and flows and how to be as consistent as possible in your business as well, which is something that I tell people all the time. It's like you find a customer, and when you find a customer, find a referral. And when you find a referral, find a customer. And when you find a customer, find a referral, right? So like constantly be finding ways to fill the top of your pipeline and constantly be having the conversation. Like, have you ever heard the 3-foot rule?
3-foot rule.
It's like anybody that you come in contact with within 3 feet of you, you should be telling in some way or shape or form what you do, right? I subscribe to that about 50%, right? I think there's a time and a place in your life where everyone within 3 feet of you, you should be telling what you do.
Right.
If you're at BNI or you're at Rotary or people are asking questions about it, you should have utter conviction to tell people exactly what it is that you do.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that coin, listening is twice as powerful as talking.
For sure.
If you can really boil down the problem that people are having and find a solution to the problem instead of learning about a solution and throwing a solution everywhere that you can throw it and seeing who wants to pick it up, like you probably learn a lot about that in the process of the roofing industry. It's what is it? Shingles falling off my roof? Do I have roof streaks? Do I have ventilation issues because I've spray foamed my attic shut?
Yep,
Like, do I have, what, do I have a leak? You know what I mean? There's all types of problems and there's different solutions for all those things. And a repair is a viable thing. You don't have to get your roof replaced every single time.
Exactly.
Me and Naomi had a long conversation about how a lot of the repair business has turned into new roof business 3, 4, 5 years later because people appreciated the process of what they went through the first time. So I tell that to salespeople all the time is like, the energy that you put into your business is definitely what you can expect to get out, right? But you have to keep putting in more energy than you feel like you're getting out to it until there is at a place where things are falling out of the pipeline, because that place does exist, especially for people that work very, very hard. So, no, I think your obstacles are normal human obstacles, things that you learn in business and in life that you have to figure out how to overcome. Tell me a little bit about your goals. Where do you go from here? What's the end all be all for you?
That's a good question. Before I answer that, I wanted to say something about what you said about the up and down and how people quit at that moment. I want to share an experience with me because I was doing pretty decent from December to February, I was like, oh, this is cool, right? This is a different level of money. And then in March, bro, in March, I sold $18,000 total. Like, that's nothing. That's
Mm-hmm.
like barely a roof.
Yeah,
And I was
barely
like,
roof.
what the heck? And then April came around, I sold, I think 30,000 or 24,000. And I was thinking, I learned, like you said, I let my pipeline die down. And then I also was switching up the pattern. The
Mm-hmm.
problem was I should have never let my pipeline die down. And then in May, I was able to turn around and I sold 110,000 that
Mm-hmm.
month. So if I would have quit after March or April, we would not be having this conversation today.
Right.
So that was so powerful to even bring that up because that's exactly what it is like. And then once you learn to not let your pipeline die down, then it goes less like this and more like this.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was
That's right.
awesome, bro.
Yeah, it's you want to keep the waves as small as possible, and then slowly find ways to trick the wave higher, where the lows are good months when you first started in your industry,
Exactly.
and the highs are higher than you could have imagined. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like
for sure.
there's power, but you don't know that. You don't come in and know that.
Right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like here's how it goes in my industry. If I sell you a credit card machine, I got to bring it to you, and I got to plug it up in your office, and I got to test it, and I got to make sure your people know how to use it, and something's going to go wrong. Not that I gave you a bad machine or that I didn't do my job whenever I trained you, but it's like a bad movie. Like when you walk out of a movie theater, you can recall just about everything that happened in this movie that you really didn't enjoy. But let me ask you about it 6 hours from now. Let you have a good night of sleep, and then you try to tell me the details of that movie. It doesn't stick around.
Yeah.
Your brain is working in a way that's not writing all those things down. So then it's like installation and training, and then a little bit of customer service related to those things just to make sure everybody's all on the same page. Well, sometimes that's a week or 2 or 3 week process, right? Well, let's say you do 4, 8, 12 deals in a month. Well, now you've got that process going on all on top of each other for, the next 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It's the easiest time in the world in the credit card processing industry to let your pipeline die. Like you are installing, you're making money, you're selling, you're addressing problems, you're interacting with your customers. Did you ask for a referral? Did you send an email? Did you put out a newsletter? Did you call someone? Did you go to a networking event? Because even though those are the things that are going to directly correlate to how much money you made, you're not filling the top of your pipeline. You got to keep the process going the same way. You know what I mean? So
Wow, that's good.
it's
Bro.
definitely
Yeah.
learned behavior. It's literally
Mhm.
something that it just happened to me. It was just an experience that I had that I was like, God, I hate riding these waves.
Yes,
It was
yeah.
almost like I had convinced myself that my industry was seasonal.
Right.
I was like, January, everybody's back in the saddle. They're back.
Right.
April comes around, spring, we're happy. We're doing deals. We get to July, June, and everybody's on vacation.
Right.
August, September, though, we're good. We're back in the saddle. Kids are back in school. Everybody's back at work. Before the holidays, we're thinking about next year. We can make changes. And I had convinced myself that the industry happened in chunks of time. It
Wow.
wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was times where I was confident because I felt like it was the time of the year, and I closed deals, and then I put everybody through the process, and I let my pipeline die down, and I wait for that next period of where I convince myself that they're back. The fish are biting. You can regain your confidence. You know what I mean? Like
For sure. Sales is not
it just
seasonal.
happened to me.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's your responsibility as a salesperson to keep your pipeline full. And you can do
Exactly.
it in creative ways. You can do it in a fun way. And you can do it in a way, if you really listen, you can do it in a way where you do right by people 100% of the time.
100%.
But it's learned. Something
People
you
do
have to learn.
say that's one thing that people always say is the roofing industry is seasonal. And when I came to Georgia Roof Advisors, I learned that it's actually not seasonal. Even within even because the cold season, of course, there's no storms coming through. There are less people wanting to get their roofs done. But the work that you put in dictates the outcome that you make, no matter what season it is.
No doubt.
And so you sell more in December than you did in August if you're working hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it just depends. Like, January, it's cold, but the amount of people that are networking in January, dude, there's tons of ability to create connections that are going to make May and June and July a heck of a lot easier for you
Right.
than if you didn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? But tell me a little bit about your goals, right? I
Yeah.
think the process that you've established and the desire to work hard,
Mhm.
is impossible to replicate. But
Mm.
tell me, at the end of the day, where do you hope that takes you?
So my ultimate goal, as I said in the beginning, I'm really passionate about helping people meet their goals. And so, you know, for me, roofing is a vehicle that's going to help me get to speaking across the world. And that's what my ultimate goal is. In the roofing industry, I just want to be known as, when you think of a roof, you think of Joshua, and you know he works with Georgia Roof Advisors. And so you know when that is getting put on, it's going to be done the best way possible. And so, eventually I just want to be straight referrals. Like, I don't want to be, getting house leads or I want to be so busy that I don't have to go to these networking events just because people are calling me for their major big projects. And I like helping people meet their vision of what they want, not just putting a roof on, but does the color match your vision of your
Mm-hmm.
home, where your house sits at? When people look at it, is it popping the way that you want it to? Do we need to upgrade? Does it only make sense for your home to have designer shingles? Like, I don't want to give you something based off your budget. I want to give you something based off your goals and your dream. And so I'm really passionate about being in this industry and just helping people continuously meet their dreams, and just being one of the most well-known roofing consultants in Georgia, or even just in the industry. I also want to be able to speak at one of the GAF events. They're having one in April, and I just think, to be able to help other roofers sell, because as you're fully aware of, the roofing industry is probably one of the least trusted industries in all of sales. Like,
Yeah.
nobody trusts roofers.
Yeah. I
But
wish my industry and your industry could thumb wrestle. Yeah.
seriously, bro,
Yeah.
because it's so
It'd be a close
easy.
one. Yeah.
Really, is it like that in credit card processing
Oh,
too?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
because my industry's hard to understand.
yeah,
That's really all it
yeah.
is you see something that you're paying for, you don't really understand why you're paying for it, and you can't really dive into what it is that you're paying.
Hmm.
It's you have to know the industry. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
It's an industry thing, and it's not even like every person we don't have used car salesman reps, like we don't have like the reputation of a scammer. It's just that everyone is fed up with my industry. The rules change, and people don't service their clients the way that they say they're going to, and people don't make it very clear what people are paying for. And I get it. Like, I am in the industry. I understand how hard it is to articulate a lot of that stuff as a salesperson. You are probably in a very similar situation in your industry, right?
Hmm.
But when you sit down with me or someone from my company, you do realize very clearly there are people that understand this and have the ability to make it very clear and do exactly what you said, is helping people reach their goals, right? Like, I'm not there to save you $5 on credit card processing.
Right,
I'm
right.
there to help you take your business to that next rung on the ladder. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? If I might have to charge you more on credit card processing, right? Let's say I charge you 10% more than whatever you're paying right now. If I can send you, a referral, if I can make an introduction to you, or I can do whatever it is that makes your business go to that next level, if I can find value outside of the couple of the dollars that I may be able to save you, like, that's where you win in my industry. That's how you
Mm.
build that trust. That's how you separate yourself, because it's hard to do.
One thing I really love about your group too is that MP Group, they're like most credit card companies. You're coming across a robot voice,
Mm-hmm.
and like, you guys pretty much take over. Like, every thriving business that is either upcoming small business, or they're even big businesses, they work with you guys. And I guess it has to do with your customer communication and the way that you guys communicate with your customers. But I love that, because everyone that, especially everyone that Roderick comes around, like, they're going to MP Group.
Yeah.
So it's awesome the way that you guys do things. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It took a long time. It
Wow.
took a long time and a lot of effort and energy and putting it out there and networking and understanding the needs and finding ways to be valuable to people. It literally was like as ground up bootstrapped of an abstract idea as you can put in your mind. Like,
Wow.
it wasn't that we did everything so much better in our industry. It was just that it's just like in your industry, like, it's like we answer the phone.
Hmm.
People in your industry love to say that. We answer the phone. The rest of our industry doesn't answer the phone. We answer the phone, right? My industry does not answer the phone.
Yeah.
It's 1-800 please help me in India, right?
Yeah,
Like,
facts for
and
sure.
it is it's just being very straightforward with people. It's like, hey, I'm gonna call you at the bare minimum 4 times a year. You know how much accounts I've retained just by I call people and I say, hey, how's it going? They say, oh, I'm actually having a problem with this. I wasn't really sure how to fix it. I'm like, just call me. You know what I mean? Just call me. We'll
Wow.
figure it out again. Maybe I don't even know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And being able to be that transparent with people really changed our life, right? Because like just to talk about the lineage of my industry changed dramatically when people stopped mailing people statements, right? So before I could go knock on every door in Main Street. Every single one of them got mailed a paper statement, right? And I could say, let me see your statement. I'm going to see if I can make you money, to save you money, right? And I look at your statement and I say, oh, I can save you X amount of dollars here. And they say, okay, sign me up. And then you sign them up. Another whole team comes out to do implementations, and your quota probably as a salesperson is probably do a deal a day, right? With knowing that only 50% of those are ever going to actually swipe credit cards. Well, then
Really?
everybody, yeah. Well, then that was 2010. All right, not long ago. Well, then everybody realized that I can just email people statements, or I can give you a portal to log into, and I can hide the statements there, and you are not going to see them, and you're not going to think about it. Well, then I go into a business, I knock on the door, and I say, "Hey, I'm Bailey. I'm the local credit card processing rep. I'd love to talk to you about your credit card processing. I've known your husband for 30 years. Doesn't matter what I say, I graduated with your son. Like I went to college with your daughter, whatever it may be. Whatever in I may have. I was referred to you by your neighbor. Well, I don't have my statement. I don't know how to get a statement. I don't even know who to call. Now I have to call a 1-800 number of another company, and I'm going to be on hold for an hour.
Wow.
Like there's a literal barrier to getting me the information I need to be able to give you a realistic understanding of what I can do for you, right? That changed my industry. It made your quota go from 20 a month to 4 a month really
Wow.
fast. Knowing that if you do 4 a month, 95% of the deals that you do throughout the year are actually going to process credit cards because you put them through a real, true, honest process. So when I
Mm.
came into my company, it was like, hey, everybody else is stuck in 2010. They're hiring 30 sales reps at a time. They're training them for a week and they're flying them out to wherever, and then they're patting them on the butt and they're telling them, you good luck, do the best that you can. And the way that we're going to beat those people is by building relationships with people in our community. So it's really not, I would say that it's really not that we do anything so excellent or we spend so much time. It's that the rest of my industry is still on that commodity approach, right? Like the turnover in my industry is insane,
Really?
right? The turnover in clients is insane. The average company changes their credit card processing between every 8 and 30 months, right? It depends on the industry. My average client stays with me for 66 months, right? It's like 2.5 times the rest of the industry.
Wow.
The reason is because I talk to them 4 times a year at least, and then the customer service talks to them 4 times a year, and I answer the phone whenever they have problems. And it's not that we do something so excellent. It's that my industry was slapped in the face by technology. And a lot of people didn't have the processes to train salespeople to be successful. So they had to hire 100 salespeople and hope that 10 of them were able to do their job and stayed with them for a couple of years, right? Like, it's a difficult thing, my industry, because the training in my industry is subpar. It's not great because it's like it's super expensive to hire salespeople and pay them a base salary and wait until they have enough clients to where you're actually making money as a company because you're splitting revenue, the residuals with your salespeople, right? Like it takes a long time to be profitable. My company probably didn't make money on me till like year 5 or something.
Wow.
Now it's a great investment because I've been here for 7.5 years or something like that, and they're excited about it. So
Wow.
it's a learning thing too, and I think where your goals are, what you talked about earlier with your goals is like finding other people in your industry to help, or finding other ways to really just understand the process and what people are doing well. I love that. Like
Awesome. Thanks, man.
I've met some super talented people in my industry, and their talent is I worked really hard and I listened to people. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
and that goes a little bit understated. So I love where you're at. I'm excited about where you are. I'm excited about helping you reach your goals. If there's anything that we can do for your introductions that we can make, please let us know because
For
it's
sure.
literally what we hang our hat on is finding ways to be valuable to people that want to be helped. You know what I mean? That want to treat people the right way.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
thank
Thank
you.
you for taking care of us, because I know you do our credit card processing, and it's been excellent.
Yeah,
It's
I
been,
appreciate that. It's
yeah,
been a journey too. You know, it's been a journey. There's been times where it's been like, we got to figure stuff out. You know, you're changing technologies. Things are changing on the back end. How do we make this stuff work with your process? And I think if there's anything that I can pat myself on the back on, it's that same thing. Is like, I listen to Naomi and James, and I tell them, here's a good idea. Here's a bad idea. Here's what I love. Here's what I hate. Where do we go from here? You tell me. It's your business. At the end of the day, it's your business. That's that I say to everyone on the podcast. At the end of the day, it's your business. You're going to be able to build your business to be what you want. You're going to be able to build it in conjunction with your goals and how you want to treat people and interact with people. And if you do a good job of putting people around you that align with those same goals, you're going to be very successful. And I think that's where you are.
awesome.
You're in a
Man.
wonderful place. And
Yeah,
you're a great
very
guy.
grateful. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bro.
you're
I
a
really
great guy.
appreciate it.
I encourage you to just keep working hard, lean on people, and be that shoulder to be leaned on. And I think you're going to be just fine.
Thank you, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
I really
anytime.
appreciate it.
Well, let me ask you this, right? You made that decision
Mm-hmm.
to stick around in your industry, to ride some of the ups and downs, to figure out how to overcome the stuff that we deal with, right? What does it feel like now, having made that decision to stick around? What is the type of gratification that you get out of making a commitment like that?
I'm grateful. I'm extremely grateful, bro. It's like I'm grateful and I'm excited for the opportunity that is there. And I forgot where I heard it from. I think it was a podcast I was watching, but um, most people do not make it in an industry past 4 years. And at the fifth year, you're at the top of the industry no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
As you were just saying, right? For the
Mhm.
first 5 years when, you weren't doing as much, and then now you're great, right? But at that
Mhm.
fifth year mark, it's just you now have a level of expertise that most people don't have.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful that I stuck to it, and that through the hurdles, and to see the growth, the way that I started out last year versus how I'm starting out this year, it's just so like it's just now it's more so second nature. Now I'm trying to dive even deeper into the understanding of meeting people's visions and goals. So man, I'm so grateful. Shout out Naomi and James at Georgia Roof Advisors.
I agree.
The best CEOs that can ever come across. You want someone to care about you, you're at the right place working with Georgia Roof Advisors. So yeah, very grateful for what the future has, and I'm grateful that this opportunity did present itself.
I'm excited for you. Like I said, our goal here is to connect entrepreneurs with professionals, right? I say it at the beginning of every podcast. I think you embody what it means to be a professional. I think if you keep
Thank you,
working
sir.
hard, all your goals are going to come true.
Awesome, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Really appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you for having
anytime.
me here. This was a blast,
Yeah,
and I know.
come hang around anytime. You know,
for
you'd
sure.
be really good at this.
Think so?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not that hard. If you know how to have a conversation with people, you'd be pretty good at podcasting.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what the avenue takes me.
Well, burn the ship.